Hello, hello. No worries. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, okay. No, I can hear you. I quickly went through your question list, so I should be good for this. Well, I mean, I've been in this for a while, right? So there's so many different ways just throughout the years. I guess there are a couple prominent ways. Number one, I've engaged in it somewhat as like a high elo player at some point. Let's say I bothered to try, and so it's impacted me in such a way that it motivated me to stream almost indirectly or otherwise, where it's kind of like, hey, I want to document my process being a better player. So that was one of the things where, just as like a challenger player up and coming, I was like 14, 15 or something like that, 16 as well. I'm getting like asked to stream and stuff, to show my stuff. So that kind of like jump started the career when it comes to streaming. Career as in streaming, correct? Right, right. Uh, Indirectly, I suppose there are other ways, like um, just meeting people through that whole atmosphere. I mean, you kind of meet people no matter what in solo queue, but when you bother to, let's say, group up and let's say try making a team, or you talk about the game to the depth that these people do within esports, that's certainly a depth of interaction that you don't really get unless you want to engage in that kind of stuff. Genuine curiosity exists, sure, but I don't think really, I don't think you get much beyond surface level if you're just kind of curious. You kind of have to be embedded in it. Yeah. Uh, yeah, League of Legends and Fortnite as well. Actually, for League of Legends, it happened when I was young. Once again, around 14, 15. But the problem was when I was 15, I was pretty much competitive ready. I would argue I was just peak performance, really dedicated to the game. Had a lot of years on my side, but problem was I needed to be 17 to compete. And so what was funny was 2 years later, when I was 17, they lowered the rule to 16, I believe. I think that was the first year contracts I actually played, and contracts was like 16 or some shit. And I was like, I felt slighted somewhat. And by that point, I had lost all motivation. I just kind of, I mean, at the same time, my stream was on the upswing, and I was playing with Albert and do my YouTube. I'm like, oh shit, I'll do this instead. Yeah. I'm not paying too much attention to those things other than my stream. I suppose the rest could just kind of be arbitrary. When it comes to my stream, there's a bit of a downswing. Actually, people kind of depart from my kind of stuff, and just bother to check out Worlds or Riot Games or whatever the channels are. Um, yeah, so visibly, it's like a. I mean, I could be wrong, right? I could just be biased. It's a negative impact, if anything. Um, I don't actually know, because I guess negative would have to mean that it deviates from like the standard, and typically I don't really have a standard for my viewership when I look at it. In the past, I certainly didn't, because I knew it fluctuated from like anywhere from like 40 to like 80 people, depending on how people felt. Twitch streaming, it's quite capricious by nature. It's, one day it'll help you and one day it won't. I guess nowadays I hold myself to like at least 100. I want to get three digits, and I don't really have any difficulty in maintaining that. So if there is any sort of impact that esports has on my stream, um, I probably don't register it in my head, but I'm sure it does have an impact. Like some people would rather just watch, something that can only happen that you can only see like now, Yeah, yeah, that's happened before. I don't know if it happens too often. And once again, I don't pay too much attention. I don't think so, actually. I mean, as far as I can tell, they highlight some of the things that are helpful to them, and the non esports focused content creators for League of Legends aren't exactly the most uh, conducive, I guess. Like, if they're just kind of chilling playing solo queue, why would they highlight that? Um, I don't really think there's any sort of way. I feel like you'd have to be a genius. Maybe just mentioning how, hey, if you're engaged in this kind of stuff, like here are some streamers that play League at a high level. Like maybe like, sorry, I'm coughing. Maybe maybe talking about how some streamers might have a gimmick, and so if you enjoy that kind of stuff, like a one trick, like maybe a one trick, uh, whose champion gets played on the stage could be highlighted. I don't know, some off comment. I really just don't think by nature the kind of helping non esports focused creators on an esports platform is like I doubt the ability to bring anything to fruition. Um, no, not often. Maybe if there's like this, like a really big game, or wow, it's crazy. I kind of follow the teams, sure, but I don't even like know half the players. I just every year is root SKT because I'm just familiar with that from when I was like a kid, and like I guess I was a little bit invested when I was a kid, but no, I don't. I don't really care. Mm, well, I don't game now as much as I used to game before. I certainly spend a lot of time passively consuming. For Fortnite, yeah, I enjoy looking at some of the Fortnite stuff if I'm not playing it. Because honestly, after I play League on stream, I get the hell out of here. Yeah, I mean, I play a little bit off stream, but I engage with other things. I don't really watch League while playing League. I don't think and if I do, it's not for the reason that most people do. I think it's because they're very interested in getting better or something. I just sometimes I'm just kind of curious. Like clickbait works on everyone, right? So if someone's got something, I follow all my friends. Some of them are content creators. I just endeavor to check this shit out. So oh, that's kind of cool. But mostly Fortnite and like other games. Haha, see, I don't even follow that. I just kind of follow like the tips and tricks, like the small casual stuff. But it did blow up last year, and I'm sure it'll continue. It's just that's the new wave, dude. It's all the kids and shit. I mean, I went to TwitchCon and there was like this kid, almost like half my size, this little brown kid hanging out at one of the booths where they had two laptops set up and you could just 1v1 each other. And obviously I was like the only adult there. Like there's just a million kids like crowding around there watching. And this fucker, dude, this guy, he was playing like the lowest DPI available or some shit. He was swinging his arm and he was just getting these edits. I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing Fortnite. I'm not competing, bro. It's fucking this little look at this motherfucker. He's like it's insane. He replaced the wall. He got the wall and he got the stair. Edited both in the second. Fucking pumped this guy in the head. I'm like hell no, dude. I wanted to play, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get up in front of this goddamn laptop next to this guy, and like look him in the eye when he kills my ass. Like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, fucking kids, man. Goddamn. Anything dedicated to that? I don't think so. I mean, a lot of the competition just seemed kind of aloof and for show, like Twitch rivals, but I don't believe they had anything like that. I mean, before they had this, last year's TwitchCon had this whole Fortnite event. It was just like this big dome. It was awesome. You would go in there, everything was Fortnite themed, and they actually played the same thing like the Twitch Fortnite event. But the difference there was it was just so much more competitive, man. This Twitch rivals like everyone just kind of. I mean, it was hype and it was extreme, but maybe it's just because I'm jaded with League of Legends. I couldn't even feel competitive about it because I was watching a lot of my friends up there. Maybe that's why I was friends with like pretty much everyone on stage, um, or like half of them or so. Competing, it's kind of like I didn't really make friends with people that are like that unless I watched them first. I don't really get to know them first. Uh, I don't think there have been too many people that I've been friends with and then they started competing afterwards. A lot of my friends, like Albert, like Box, Saber, they're just in the limelight to begin with, you know. Oh, hell yeah, dude. If they want to invite me, hell yeah, I'd bring hella competition, dude. I got the most off-map picks, dude. You think you could ban me out? Like you just can't. Like with local tournaments too, I get very competitive. I'm not gonna like yell at people, sure, but like I try hard. If it's a goddamn tournament and there's money on the line and also like the viewership, I want to put on a good show. Of course, dude. Sparks a little bit of a passion in me. Uh, yeah, they should. Yeah, 15. Yeah, yeah. Ever since I was like 3 or 4, I remember I started playing RuneScape. That's where it started. I think I wanted to do games for a different reason. Just whenever you're a kid, you kind of want to shirk from your duties and just kind of have fun. I'm like, I want to be a gamer. I want to be a professional gamer. It went from like that kind of pipe dream as like a little kid, just trying to get away from school and shit to an actual reality with streaming and whatnot. There's at some arbitrary point it transitioned. But I mean, I still have a little bit of that, starry eyed, like, wow, I can be a professional gamer, but I'm a lot more pragmatic now. There certainly was that drive though. I don't really tell them I'm a professional streamer. I just tell people I do content on like different platforms. Kind of modest about that because no one really. I mean, I'm very conscious of that effect when you tell someone you're a professional gamer. They're just like, what? so so in response to my more PR, I don't know, a humble, let's say, introduction, they generally think it's interesting and it's met with confusion mostly. Goddamn boomers. Jokes, but but people just like don't know, like, and when they do know, they're like, oh, okay, that's awesome. So it's kind of like in the know and not in the know. Yeah, yeah. Collegiate, like the scholarship and everything. I would just for the money, but don't tell them that. The actual collegiate scene, I find to be pretentious. It really. I mean, I can't trust anyone to just not have an ego about those things, and plenty enough to do to the point where I'm just like, yeah, fuck these guys. Am I allowed to swear on this, by the way? Yeah, yeah, fuck these guys, man. They suck. It's like massive cock, dude. Like a lot of them, it's annoying. That's why at my local university, like if I ever play collegiate, I gotta make sure like the people are I'm okay with, like hell no, it's just a lot of young people that think they're actually fucking good. The moment you put money in their hands and you pay them for something, like they actually think they're worthwhile, you know. And to be fair, there are a lot of them that are very good and a lot of them very level headed, but the rest of them, like they're just paying like diamond players that aren't actually competitive ready. You would never put like I think the last time we put a diamond player in actual professional games was like Avalon, and he was a Korean. He was a D1 Korean guy for top. He got smashed, right? If I remember correctly. Like you just don't want that kind of. I mean, I get it. It's collegiate. It's not exactly the most competitive, sure, but it's like a stepping stone almost. And I certainly think it's a healthy thing to have happen. It's just it's kind of uncontrolled where they rolled out like the collegiate team for this one university. It was just like 30 people. Like how many of them are actually really good? So it's a good thing, and it's also I've witnessed some of the bad things. Just like the whole I represent my university. I mean, it exists anywhere, right? Like anyone that goes to a university or like lives in a country will feel some sort of attachment to it and use it as a part of their. Well, they'll invoke it as part of their introduction. Like look at me. Like for example, I'm a Canadian, right? But yeah, I feel pride as a Canadian, but at the same time, I'm not gonna flaunt it. Like, look at me, I'm so good. Like, so it's that kind of thing. I think I'm just kind of against this labeling or whatever. And collegiate, being a collegiate player is just another label that people can slap onto themselves just to feel good. And it's kind of that contrived nature that I work against. And yes, I shouldn't generalize, but it's part of my being, really. Uh, somewhat. Not as much. I think they just don't really talk too often. I think they know better than to do that. Because you just get wrecked on social media. Not that they can't do that. They could. It's just I think first and foremost they recognize that it's a stupid thing to do. Um, and second, like I'm sure their teams just tell them like just don't do that. Yeah. Well, I've encountered this problem. I've seen this quite a bit where if people are too PR and like relaxed and neutral, it's like, oh wow, no personality. But then if they're very engaged and haha, double lift, it's like calling people trash. Um, that gets people going. It's like two sides of the community. There's always like this pretentious upper echelon of people that are like, you guys are just sensitive. People should be able to take banter. There's like that kind of side. These annoying fucks that exist in the league community or any community really. They just enjoy this banter. And then there's like the other, I would argue, more level-headed side that aligns with sponsors that are like, maybe they shouldn't say this so much. Maybe they should have a little bit more tact. Like you can be tastefully uh, bantering with one another and not just like outright calling each other. I'm not saying double what he did is bad. I'm just saying some of the other comments that people will make, like very sharp digs. I haven't really seen too much to say anything about like the sponsor backlash, but I know that you can't like swear, for example. That's more on like the riot side. I'm pretty sure players. I can't remember the last time a player swore. um, but it seems like if they don't, yeah, it seems like if they don't cross that boundary, they're pretty good. Other than that, should they be able to? If that's like the question. Personally, I think they could do whatever the fuck they want. Like, uh, no, I guess very limited engagement with that. Like, just I don't really go out of my way to watch conventional sports. Huh. No worries, man. Yeah, yeah. Leo, link me with stuff later if you can. I'm curious. Yeah, yeah. What is this for again? It's like some sort of Right. Oh. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you get more people to interview as well. I don't know if, you said also. Hmm, no worries, man. Alright.